Alright, hey y'all, it's Pizza Hulk here in the Long Dark. We're in Mountain Town in the town of Milton. Doing a custom test play run. We're checking out the medium loot table once again. This will be at least the third time. And the focus is less on survival and more on what I find with these settings. And if it's something I want to do as sort of my... Pick up that water? I don't think I did. Well, for most of my adventures here in the Long Dark.
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
I've done some playthroughs that were adjusted a little bit, so this one is the loot settings strictly for stalker mode. The only thing I changed was that I made it so the loot degradation is at its lowest. So as far as affecting the loot table itself, that's really it. And the reason I wanted to do several checks and playthroughs and tests is because, you know, especially the very first time I did it, it just seemed like I had
for anything.
no problem with stuff, you know. And that is technically, right, in theory, supposed to be the hardest difficulty as far as loot is concerned, other than Interloper. And if you play Interloper, or have played, the low baseline loot setting, there is a disparity, sort of, between that, I think, and stalker mode that is pretty noticeable difference. The other issue, of course, is trying to figure out what's just random luck in that playthrough, right? The quirks of the Long Dark. One is which is sometimes you just get a plethora of certain things and can't find others, so you might be having a real hard time finding a hacksaw, but there's food everywhere, or whatever. Maybe you'll find a ton of flare shells in this one, and maybe you don't in another one. Same difficulty settings, same loot table settings. Right? But I do need to take into that account that randomness. Where sometimes, you know, it just works out. Certain things work in your favor. Or for instance, and I say this a lot, but like, you know, it would be nice if there were just a little bit more of some adjustments. You know, some sliders and some different things you could change. Like, I wouldn't mind taking the axe out of Interloper, but leaving in the knife. I wouldn't mind being able to take the really good gear out of like snow pants and the expedition jacket, etc., out of Stalker. You know. I mean, the thing of it, here's the thing. You don't have to use them, obviously. I mean, I had a bear skin coat. I could have kept that. You know. But it's so heavy. And there is an expedition code. And so that's kind of the thing about me, you know. I'll have to make that choice, I guess, at some point. Pardon me. All right. I had to play with my phone for a minute. So, uh, I did mention in the opening there that we've had some glitching going on. And I thought it'd be, you know, I'm sitting here in pause anyway, might as well address it. So you can see here that according to this, I've never had a cup of coffee, an energy drink, or a stem. And as you can imagine, the many hours, right, especially this one, right, and the Blizzard one, to achieve these, right? So we're talking quite a few hours, right, just to get 1,000 fires. Uh, and I had that one before I had some of the others. So you're saying, Pizza, you never had a cup of coffee? You really never used a stem? You didn't drink that Go Gel? Of course I did. Unfortunately, just recently, I logged in and all my badges were gone. I didn't realize this. I just went in and I hit resume to my playthrough. And when I went in, it awarded me a badge that I had just gotten, you know, a week or two ago. The Blizzard badge was the last one that I got. And so it said it awarded it to me. And I was like, that's weird. I wonder if that's a glitch, you know? Because I already achieved that badge. It's really strange. And what was even stranger is that it awarded it to me in a custom playthrough where you shouldn't accrue any stats for your badges. So that's the thing about you have to get these badges in the normal game because when you play, as you can see, I have been playing in custom mode, so I have been drinking coffees, and it hasn't added to that total because I'm not playing in the base game. So when I figured out what happened, because I went in and I went and looked at my badges, and I had the badges on that I had for that playthrough were showing up, right? And I happened to have the Blizzard Walker, I think, for that one. Maybe it wasn't. I forget what it was, but maybe it was Free Runner for all I know. Whatever, one of these popped up, and I was like, what? That doesn't. And then I had a bunch that weren't there. So I went back to old saves and managed to get all my badges back, but I didn't have a save with the coffee one on it, and that's why it's at 0%. Obviously, I've had not only, I mean, I have the badge because I've used over 250, you know, coffee drinks. So that is just gone, but I'm not too sad about it because as I have like 25 saves. Like it's stacked. And I mean, I didn't look through them all, but I was fairly confident. There wasn't going to be one that had a coffee one on it. Luckily, I do like to use some of the other badges that every now and then I would say normally wouldn't be badges that I would pick. You know, literally just to mix things up or whatever. But luckily, it didn't take me too long to get everything back. And also, luckily, I went through the custom playthroughs, which have 5 badges on. So I got a significant amount back at once. All right, are you thawed out? Yes, you are. Too much meat left on you, huh? We'll get a little harvesting. Window, fridge, stove. I swear. Let's just do a match in a book. Although I think I hit level 4 on the fire skill. I have to double check that. I started with the fire badge on. Yep. That's a fair amount of fires already, actually. Okay, wait, let's see. I don't really think I have a lot to cook. A couple of cans, really, not too much. We'll play with this stuff in the morning. Alright, well, let's toss these on. You know, do I need the cooking skill all the way up? No, but I like it. Just like I'm working on my mending, carcass harvesting, and all that stuff. It does make the game easier. Certain things faster. Using less resources. Like this. We'll eat these peaches. Give us a nice bit of, excuse me, Pizza needs a sip of coffee. That's the worst. I just breathed wrong. How did pizza die? I breathed wrong. Is he in the habit of doing that? You know, it's pizza. Ugh. All right, let's do something productive. Oh, I know. It's gonna take a while, but we'll get a few going at once, so that'll help. All right, so let's go. No, not in here. All right. So I've talked about the number of rose hips you can get here. And you can see I'm sitting on 304. That's absolutely not all of them. I believe that's not counting the basin. It's not counting or the farm area. I haven't hit either of those. So, you know, if you want to ever kind of geek up your cooking skill in a way, it's not, maybe you don't want to shred meat, you know, which I'm perfectly comfortable with doing. I encourage it. I strongly encourage it, okay? Do it. Cut your meat up in tiny little pieces. But yeah, that's really gonna burn up my fire. Let's just play with the ones we got. And the thing to remember about these teas real quick though is that, you know, drink them. I see people have like just counters full of these things sitting around. And it's cool for role play, I think. It looks good or whatever, but I mean, if you want to conserve a little water,
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
actually, you know what? I think I do. I have one more rose hips right there. You know, okie doke. Time to put this poor lady to bed. She's not really that tired. So I think what we'll do is we'll hang out up here. And I really want to start, I want to get these teas made. Because I have a 6-burner stove, I just want to be able to get as many done as possible at once, you know. Because cooking skill is based on per item and has nothing to do with how long it takes. Anyway, that's going to make things lighter. Need about 8 pounds of water on this. Who doesn't want crackers for dinner? We'll give her about 6 hours. It might work out. Storm's over. A little bit of sunshine. Well rested. We have the fatigue on the lowest setting. Like I said, we're here to focus mainly on what I find. Yeah. Okay, let's get a little bit lighter. I'll go over the other major glitch that I just had in the last episode. It was insane. It really threw me off my game. I really just couldn't even really keep up with the commentary because it just freaked me out. We don't need these. whittled them down to 16. Like I said, there's more out at the farm too. So when it takes 24, and you consider we made what we made, and I still had like 7 left, so it is not an insignificant amount. Let's put it that way. Yeah, let's take a walk. Whatever. A bit heavy on the water and the food, but we'll see what we run into. Oh no, I was over prepared. I mean, the weather's not my favorite for exploring, but I know where we're going. We're not going far. There's literally a road we can follow. So it doesn't. It looks pre-blizzardy-ish, but it could just end up being like this all day long. Lots of text, sorry. And if I'd like to point this out too, you know, on a windy day when it's snowing, you're gonna get. I'm not even. Am I registering moisture yet? Not even really. So that's something to keep in mind. Wet's bad, cold's bad, wind's bad, but add all 3 together. But the nice thing is, like I said, if it's kind of windy, you're at least not getting quite as soaked. I think one of the worst weather days actually is when it's just a slow, big, fat flakes falling down. Auto lock, gotta get that off. Almost crashed. Not the game, but me into a haystack. I'm going to be kind of quick about this first part, because yeah, I'm going to jog a little bit. It's days like today where, like, you know, I'm glad I have sort of oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for back here. A short-sighted goal with not too much concern about getting everything done. It's kind of windy, but you want to look up here for, so there's no crows. But you want to look for this guy right here. Or a backpack. But that is our destination. I have noticed that whether it's low baseline loot or pilgrim or interloper, or pilgrim through interloper, there's usually a fair amount of sticks in this area. So if you need some firewood, it's right by the house. If you don't have something to cut wood with, maybe you started here or whatever. Listen, I don't know who you are actually. Pizza is super popular right now. I'm not sure why. I don't really have anything going on, but getting all the calls and texts. But again, so in theory, right, this is the second it's not most hardest, but it's the second hardest loot table. And we've got a nice bit of firewood just from the sticks alone. Plus there's a couple places around the farm where you can find some firewood. And if you could get inside, you know. There's furniture to be broken down. Now, I feel like maybe they moved the most permanent place for the key to this tractor, because I usually find it here. Like the last few times it's been here. I'm not sure to see it this time. Huh. That's what I get for talking, huh? Alright, the truck used to be the most reliable place for it. Let's go with it over there. Now, the game was broken for a while, and the key just wasn't showing up. And I've had these weird glitches. So let's hope we don't run into something like that. Yes, 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 yes. There it is. Alright. What else we got? Nothing. Keys in here. Now, those wolves should be a good sign to let you know when you're not playing with the wolves on passive mode. This is a dangerous place. And that's what I was saying in another video. You know, Milton is a good region, but it can be a tough place. Don't be fooled. And you're thinking this is going to be some super easy place to start. It can be easier, I suppose. You know, once you learn the map. But my advice would be to do exactly what the game tells you and wants you to do. And that is start in Pilgrim mode on Mystery Lake. 100%. Do everything you can to learn that area. And then maybe try to get to the forge in Muskeg. You know, watch a video, figure that out. Wind's picking up. I just want to see if there's a rope attached. There is. I think I'll leave the rest of the exploring for tomorrow. Or later this afternoon, whichever happens. There's another sapling. There's another place not too far from here where you can... There's a couple places around here where you can find saplings. Again, I don't really know that I'm going to make... I wasn't even sure if I was going to forge. I might make a few arrowheads just when I go to Muskeg anyway. But, yeah, I just don't really... I mean, the trick is I already have 10 arrowheads, so all I really need to do is make a bow. And we'll check out the little barn area over here first. There's a chance for tools, leather, firewood. The bunnies hang out. Oh, I forgot my bunny snare. The bunnies hang out right over here, so they're pretty easy to catch. There's a hacksaw, finally.
Lucky day.
I don't think I've seen one of those since, I might have one in Mystery. I'm not sure if I left one. But otherwise, I haven't seen one of those since Timberwolf, and I busted that one and turned it into scrap metal. Made hooks out of it. So you can see some leather in here. If you break this box down, there's probably a couple more pieces underneath. You can find some like lighter fluid and different stuff if you want to break these cardboard down. If you want to break down planks, I think one of these you can bust up, right? No? And then you want to check, especially if you're thinking you might need to stay here for a while, or you want to turn this into like a camp. It's a good place. If I had to live here in the town, I think I'd rather stay here, honestly. Town's a little more central to the rest of the map, I think, but I don't know. I think this will be a little easier on you. So there's the rope. That's good. So yeah, we got some tools, jerry can, whetstone, and there's some firewood. Grab that. So usually my hope is the rope is tied over there on the rope climb to get down into the basin, and then hopefully there's a second rope here. Again, I don't think I'm going to go to Bleak Inlet, but generally speaking, this would be the rope that I would use, one of the ropes I would use to get to Bleak. One of the other ones I usually pick up is either, you know, it's usually broken railroad. Work boots. Now, I kind of expect a weather change while I'm goofing around in here. Which way it goes is sort of up in the air. But I would not be shocked. You'll see I try to stop before I open things.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
And if I can stand in one area and open a bunch of things at once, I try to do that. It's really just to help with the stamina or fatigue. And it helps you waste less fatigue. Let's just leave it at that. If you go into the search animation while you're moving, you're using more of your fatigue. Trust me.
You never know. Could end up being useful.
Might have to work that revolver a bit more. You know, like 200 bullets with the dang thing. We'll just gather everything up. We'll see what we feel like doing when we leave here. What's that? Oh,
This stuff will come in handy.
Finally. All right. We're going to move up in the world, people. Yeah, sweaters. So I was saying earlier, I think it was in the bank, how sometimes it's weird. On certain playthroughs, what will be, you know, there'll be a ton of stuff of one thing, and hardly some of other stuff. I find I have a hard time in this game with pants a lot.
This will come in handy.
Like I've had many a playthrough where it was like, man, why can't I find a decent pair of pants? Not quite under 100. We'll leave some firewood. Oh wait, do I still have all those cooking pots? No. Yeah, what do we got here? Not too much, but there we go. I was hoping for a cooking pot. What kind of shape is it in?
I'll take it.
It's alright. Bink! And I would absolutely leave that there. So again, I'm trying to really, like I said, it's all about finding out what I can find around the maps. But, you know, I try to do a little bit of what I would normally do too. So again, if I had the moose side, I'd pull the rope up the hill with me, and certainly leave it probably at the gas station. I mean, I could do that anyway. I should do that, but that's not really, you know, again. We're gonna make some exceptions. But do you see what I'm saying? These wolves are everywhere. When the deer are in and the rabbits are in, they'll get pulled in with those. They can get up right next to the house. If you like that barn, it's great, right? It's got an outdoor crafting table. It can really help you with the sanity thing. I was looking for another... Yeah, I don't see one. Sapling back. Sometimes you can find one kind of back in there. But yeah, if you're worried about the stir crazy or whatever the hell it's called, what's it called? Being trapped in the house too long. I mean, personally, I think in every single, again, custom playthrough, unless I particularly just am like, you know, let me try something different or make something harder, I'm not going to put it on. I don't even know what it's called. But if you're in the house too long, you get weird and you have to stay outside. Anyway, I don't even remember the point I was going to make at this point because I've been too busy trying to figure out what the hell the name was. Oh, it does have an outdoor crafting table, so that way you're spending your time outside instead of inside crafting. You don't have to worry about getting that affliction. But the reason I don't play with it on is because I think it's dumb. One, sometimes even in the worst times, weather, everything, you're going outside generally speaking, a couple times a day. Uh, if you just lived here, people who live in places like Canada and Alaska and I don't know, probably Siberia and places like that, they know that there's going to be occasionally times where there's going to be not just days at a time, but possibly even weeks at a time where you really can't get out and do much. I get it, but for instance, if I had broken ribs and I knew I should probably do little and stay inside and try to heal as much as possible, I'd still have to get outside to do stuff. Whatever I could, but you know, even if it's just gather sticks. Now, I need to define better in my brain what is, you know, my immersion, I said it, I'm so proud of myself. My immersion needs
Looks like this has been here a while.
over the need to increase the difficulty of the game. And I absolutely, completely see and understand why. I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. Literally, I'm out here trying to figure out this is what I want to do to sort of increase the challenge of the game for me. Right? So I should think about the way I phrase things, I suppose. There's nothing wrong with having a legitimate complaint about a game. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And sometimes your personal opinion is really just that, you know. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, like, I don't like this. But, like I said, it's not necessarily a flaw in the game. It's just something that I don't personally enjoy. But the point I'm trying to make is that making the game more difficult absolutely makes sense. There are going to be people that want to make, I mean, what is it? There's a no Goa, no one gets out alive, right? I've seen a few of those playthroughs. What in the world, right? And then throw in, what's the other one? You know, they do stuff where they can't go inside. You can only use caves and tunnels, you know, weird, whatever. I mean, those challenges aren't even in the game. They just made those up to make them harder. And so I'm for that. I do think, honest critique is that there's too much of a weird... Stalker mode and interloper mode are just two very different things. And I don't really think Stalker mode... There's nothing wrong with Stalker mode. I just don't think the next evolution should be interloper. I think there should be something else. And then interloper. Look in here, sometimes you can find some tools or stuff. No food or whatever. Anyway, the little houses that are under construction, see, there's some quality tools. Like I said, look for tools.
I think I can use this.
And not just these kind of tools. Oh, ski bugs. I don't know. You know. Well, here, let's grab those. But, what, you know, like a hacksaw or something like that. You want to look for those in here. Sometimes you can find stuff like that.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Matches. Crayon the ball and a pair of somebody's old socks. Feel free to break down crates. I usually only break down a few if I need them. Usually I break down the stuff in Muskeg just because I want the firewood. I mean, there's stuff you can get out of them too. The crate and broken railroad that can have high tier loot plus a head wrap. And the crate here that can give you the skiing pants. We passed by a lot of cattails. Haha. It's like, I think there's some more rose hips. Again, I hope this just shows you. And again, not going to get them all. And I'm definitely not going to go to all the places you can go here in Milton. Or on any of the maps, really. So this kind of snow, you can see we're starting to get pretty wet in. And it's still not the worst, I think, as far as being wet. But it is definitely not great. Piece of coal. Oh, 2 pieces. The firewood. So like I said, you could come here, the same settings, and find nothing. Or just like 1 piece of cedar. You know what I'm saying? Like... that varies. So I guess what I'm trying to, I've deduced is that if I'm playing on this medium level, I'm just going to have to accept that there's going to be certain runs that are simply just going to be way easier, you know? Get out of here. I knew there was another one. Alright, let's get inside, drop some crap off, and maybe do some more looting. So yeah, if I'm going to use this as sort of my base playthrough, there's going to be some where it's just silly and I have like 3 pairs of snow pants and 2 expedition coats, and you know, I got like 5 hatchets just sitting around in each area and whatnot. And you know, while there's certain things I can change, especially about, you know, the loot stuff, if I decide to go with the interloper loot table, which I'll definitely do some of that too. I feel like I'm going to have to, if that's really what I, like, if I want to sometimes achieve the actual challenge that I'm looking for in this situation. Because yeah, there's just, sometimes the medium's great. I think it's been better in this one than in some of my previous playthroughs. And there's always different choices I can make, like, you know, particularly like where I start, the path I take, the places I go to. I mean, the thing The thing about starting in Ash Canyon is it's super awesome because why? Well, you get the backpack, you get the you can get the crampons, right? You know, but there's also a decent amount of high tier loot and chances at that along the way. Boom. Where are we at? A lot of times you can pull stuff out of these and just leave it laying around. I do that quite a bit, actually. Sticks. Food. Now, what I told myself is that what I could do, and that's just kind of the basis of what I was thinking, I'll eat all the garbage food. A, just because I like it. I think it's fun. Eat all this poisonous food. It's actually something I do in my regular playthroughs. I will stockpile old food to the point so that when I hit level 5, I can just go to town on all the garbage. But it's a fair representation because then I can see generally. It's not that I'm not eating some of the good stuff along the way because that needs to happen too. But of what I could have found in an area. So if you look in this freezer right here, you get a good idea. We've got. I think I brought. I know I was carrying one MRE. I might have gotten a second one along the way. So 2 MREs. But look at this. We found at least 2 to 3 here. And everything in here is, you know, generally speaking, edible. There's a few canned goods I want to cook. But again, I'm trying to eat the garbage. We got crackers you could take a risk on. I drink these sodas, no problem. These in particular are great calorie givers. The ones, and that's the other thing too. I would eat all these candy bars right here. I wouldn't pick up this or this or this. I'd just leave those alone. But I'd take the risk on these if I needed to. This is a little sketch, but I mean, you know, candy bars and sodas, you can kind of get away with some, so. Something to keep in mind. All right, so we're going to be goofing around right here in the town, basically. We're at the point where we're just going to loot. The town, I don't really need to do any hunting or anything. So we'll put that up there. That'll lighten my load. Significantly, we'll put our cooking pot down. And we'll keep the can on us. You never want to be completely without stuff. Here's what I say. Never walk away without a way to make water. I'm talking like from your front door to the bank. Let's say you're making a run over there. Don't leave without some way to make water. Your bedroll, a couple of rocks, some torches, you know, some water and food. And I never go anywhere without 2 pieces of firewood. Once you get it, at least 2 pieces of coal and 6 sticks before I walk out any door. And it took me quite a few mistakes to get there, so don't. It makes sense. Yeah, well. I left my rifle in Pleasant Valley, and I can't tell you how many times I left a bedroll somewhere. So, try to check those things. And no joke, whether you're just running from here to there, make sure you have at least those items. Now in a place like this, I could make some changes too. Like, I don't need all this clothing. just running back and forth. So I could drop some clothing. I could do, I would just be running around in my sweaters or whatever.
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
Usually what I do, I like to throw all the matches in a container and see which, if any, stack. And that can really help. And not necessarily, it just depends on how you like to do things. But I'd rather walk out with like 40 cardboard matches in a stack than 2 packs of 20. I don't know why. Oh, I want to grab all the books. So before we leave here, and again, listen, there have been like you got a cold, right? I had COVID. I had some health issues. I'm not saying there weren't during those days and weeks times where I was like, I just want to go outside for a walk. I want to go to Target or whatever. I just want to get out of here and do something.
Looks like this is
And when you're chomping at the bit to run errands and go to the grocery store, yeah. It wasn't an ailment. I think when I had mono when I was a kid, I just like, and I don't know if it was like needed or it was just the way they did things back in the 80s. But they were like, I couldn't really do anything, see anyone go outside or do anything for like 6 weeks. So it sucked. I was like, I don't know, 11. Think about how bored and life can, needs to be constantly entertaining when you're that age. So, I did all right. All right. Personally, coffee. It's always what I'm looking for. Clothing. Any kind of upgrades. Anything that can reduce the amount of carry weight. Make fixing easier. So the switching out the rabbit gloves for the gauntlets. It's just a little easier to repair the gauntlets when you're on the run. Same thing with the what am I wearing? The improved, whatever they're called, improved new insulated boots. They're a pound less, and they do the same job pretty much as the deerskin boots. There's actually a little bit more warmth, but you sacrifice a few things, like definitely sprint. It's a big reduction there. I think the deerskin boots are like 5%. Oh, well, the deers, these boots are 12%. The deerskin boots are 5%.
This'll come in handy.
Basically, this little bar on the right that just popped up that shows me running, I'd have more of that if I had the deerskin boots on. But they weigh a pound more. So. Eventually, I would rather trade out for the mucklucks, which weigh a pound less than these do. 2.2 pounds. Or like a pound 10 less. And then, again, I can fix them with leather. They're lighter weight. I will have the same warmth as the deer, but I won't have the warmth of the ones I'm wearing now. But again, it'll save me a pound. Alright, now as far as the so one of the things I just think that's the way it would be, I guess, no matter what. If you're gonna play in stalker mode or stalker loot table, I mean, you really are looking for those lightweight synthetics, right? I guess it becomes a game of maintaining them. I don't know. And then, of course, the things get colder over time if you want to play with that. So, you know, these things are great, but eventually you're probably going to need to end up in with skins as well, or just end skins. But it can keep you lightweight in the early game. Crazy warm if you come across them. You know, what if you start Pleasant Valley and, you know, hey man, I got an expedition coat and snow pants, red underwears, climbing socks, and I'm beast, and I make a few skin things, and then, I mean, man, you could walk out of there, you know, like a champ.
Best be prepared for anything.
So yeah, I could do something like, you know, force myself to start in areas, like I said, I mean, Ash Canyon is probably the best start anyway, but, you know, put it on random or pick somewhere else where I know
Okay.
I'm not just going to end up with like a ton of good stuff, or at least the potential of a ton of good stuff right off the bat. But again, with that little bit of randomness involved, where some playthroughs are just really, you know, you get a lot of really great stuff real quick. So yeah, I mean, let's say you hit up, you start in Pleasant Valley in perfect conditions. It just happens. The weather works your way. You're heading into either Timberwolf or mystery with like a 40 plus degree warmth bonus and around a 20-degree windproof. Rifle, pistol, geeked up skills, skins. I mean, or you could start there, have a really hard time, not hardly find anything. Best jacket you got's an old-fashioned parka. You can't find a sweater to save your life. You're walking around in mittens you made out of cloth. But you got 5 hatchets. two hacksaw. You know what I'm saying? It's just so random. So I guess that's really kind of the good thing about it, I guess. You know, there's just kind of got to be a zenness to it. I think you just kind of have to accept that. And oh no, I'm going to have some, you know, much easier playthroughs than others. Right? And like I said, when I really want to like mix it up and torture myself a little bit, I can go with the low baseline. I already decided what I'm going to do. So, yeah, so some of the playthroughs I'll go with a low baseline. But with the medium start kit. So, I might have gloves and a hat. I might not. I might have one or the other. But I'll definitely have some matches. And that's really my only real thing. I don't play enough in that mode. Or haven't to know where the match spawns are, so. And yes, I could look it up. But I'll just role play that I had a pack of matches in my pocket. Lucky me. And I've watched a lot of people play Interloper. I know. Oh, just a random hacksaw.
Thank you.
It's in garbage condition. But to know that, you know, they'll find you. There's plenty of matches around. You'll find them. But I've also seen situations where they've started in places and it just doesn't go well, and they literally are just on the brink of death.
I'll take it.
Hey, yeah, we will. Before they get, you know, to that pack of matches. They are better players than me. So their brink of death would be well past the time I probably would have already died. So. They got enough water, yeah. Plenty of antiseptic around for whoever needs it. And see, that's what I'm saying. I can just rip those shoes up and repair mucklucks or gauntlets. Whereas in an hour and a half or 15 minutes, whatever it is. Or, you know, wait, what is it, 3 days for a rabbit skin I might need? So yeah, you could carry a piece of leather around. It's pretty light. You could rip up some shoes whenever you find them, and pretty much maintain as you move around. All right. We'll probably just try to grab everything right now.
Looks like this has been here a while.
So again, I'm just trying to position myself in a way where I can just stand still in one spot and try to hit as many as possible. Just try to keep yourself from hopping around. And generally, I would say it probably doesn't matter too much. Right. But I would say it's sort of situational.
I think I can use this.
Especially in a place like this where you have so many opportunities. So this one's got a fireplace. Nice. You could, feel like staying at Grandma's house up there where the dogs are always hanging out. This is a good opportunity for another spot. Tons of storage areas, right? Basically, you're at the same setup as Grandma's house. Grandmother, whatever her name is. Furniture to break up, cloth, yeah,
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
It doesn't necessarily always show up. You might not be able to have one of these houses that has a fireplace in it. But if it's here and you want to be in this area, plus you're a little closer to the gas station and leaving from here, I would take this place over Grandma's house. Grandmother. I don't know why I call it Grandma. I guess it reminds me of the big bad wolf tail. But yeah, perfectly. Why not?
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
I know it weighs 4 pounds. It's stupid, but whatever. We got one more house to clear out. We'll just go do it. See what we find. But I would say that this end of town, not that you can't. I would say it's definitely a bit safer than the other. So like I said, finding that fireplace in that spot would be a huge help. Because most of these houses are pretty useless. You can't cook inside or do anything in here. But there you could have fires, make water. Well, okay, they're not. So some of them have this. So you could at least have a 1-burner stove.
Well, this stuff will come in handy.
But that fireplace gives you 2. Should have clarified. Miss. We are working towards our survival currently. I hear you. Anyway, again, lots of furniture, lots of curtains. You got a fireplace, not too bad. I mean, a stove. Like I said, if you can get one of those places that actually have the fireplace in it, that's going to give you those 2 burners, and that's going to be a big help. Big help. Makes it way more worth it. So you can cook meat and make water. You can cook tea while you make whatever, like I said, if it's there, I would stay there. Alright, what I think I'm going to do, I should have a decent amount, but I'm just going to grab a little more cloth. While I'm in here. And have a little bit of light. Okay, one more and we'll get out. So you can see there's a ton of cloth in here. And that's why I'd advocate, like I said, you know, depending on how you play. And remember, there are places and times when you can. So, outside. So, if you want to avoid that sort of penalty for spending too much time indoors, you know, there's plenty of places to find where you can do that. And so, like I said, just a little personal thing of mine, you know, getting mending up to level 3, I just think is something that a lot of people don't do. I prefer to kind of focus on it. And like I said, when you're in an area like this, and you can gather up a decent amount of clothing, do it. And if you have some sewing kits or some, you know, some thread and needle, then just go for it and get it up to at least level 3. You're going to waste so much less material, and it's going to be faster, and you get a 10% bonus to your sewing. So less sewing overall. Anyway, so that's the loot, and that's what we're really here to do, is figure out, okay, what's the loot table like on Stalker mode. And we got a pretty good amount. I'll go over everything once I get stuff basically into its proper place. Let's eat some crappy dog food because we can. Yeah, that's great. I always like to leave a little space in case I need coffee. I just keep it as a habit. And as we walk through the door, we'll get the save and our food and water will be topped off. Alright. Let's waddle over here to the clothing cabinet. Alright. So, except for what I left up, like, you know, in the blue trailer and a few little things around, and the places I haven't been yet, I mean, I just want to show you just how much clothing I picked up here. Honestly, I didn't get too much clothing out of the plane this time in Pleasant Valley. This is at least comparable. Just laying around. Now, some of the things like this, I'm not even going to bother to repair. But you can see there's plenty of stuff in the 70s and below and in those areas where, you know, And I always say, look, we can use one piece of cloth to repair this, tear it up, and get our piece of cloth back. 2 Mariners P codes. That's nuts. Time. Let's see. Get rid of whatever crap we can get rid of. Alright, picked up a couple more skill books. We'll have to go through. I think they want the cookbook next, though. Actually, let's just go ahead and grab that. And that's what I was saying. I mean, this is just the matches I've collected here. But when I was talking about stacking, we've got this here. I always like it when they stack. All right. So despite what we had on us, let's take a look at what I've been able to collect and bring and centralize to this location. So we've got quite a few skill books that we picked up here. I've bred at least 1 or 2 and left them on the ground somewhere. We got a nice pile of matches. Not too much in the drugs department. You know, and I mentioned this, keep mentioning this. There's certain playthroughs where there's just certain things, you know, it seems like you have a lot in one and hardly any in another, or you've got a ton of clothing but you hardly have any drugs or whatever. So not a ton of like antibiotics and pain pills here, but maybe that's because there's just so many harvestables. I don't know. All right, I've left a few can openers. We've got 2 sets of blue tools. Not a ton of sewing kits here, but I also have them in another place, so we'll look at that in a minute. A decent amount of bullets. We found a pistol and a rifle. I believe I left one of these somewhere else. Well, I've left a couple jerry cans. There's been a ton of fuel. We should have 2 hacksaws, hatchet. Again, I've left at least another hatchet and a knife somewhere else. Not really much on the gun cleaning kits or whetstones either here. Harvestables, like I said, this is one of the best places to come for harvestables. Peek in the fridge. So again, as far as generally speaking edible food, right, we've got a freezer just full of like calories. I don't know if I came here with 1 or 2. I think I came with 2. So 2 MREs. So again, I've been trying to eat this kind of stuff. Stuff that I would normally leave on the ground. Or, I mean, there's a can that I would cook and leave, but I wouldn't eat, you know what I mean? Tons of sodas. I've been going through the sodas. Most of them have been crap, so I've just been using them. But again, just in synthetic and junk food, right? There's a lot of calories in this cabinet. There's quite a few cattails in this region. I didn't gather those this time. That's sort of a review of, like, you know, what you can pick up here. I mean, that's the majority of what I found, minus some things I've left around in other places. But I'd say this was definitely the area that I mean, had I started here, I'd be in pretty decent condition. Again, if you look at the clothing that was in the closet, And that's another thing I always consider when I go to these places. What would have been here had I started here? Possibly. But we would have had cargo pants. We would have had plenty of, you know, 2 Mariners pea coats. That alone is huge game changer. Same with the insulated boots. Major find. Pair of underwear, 2 thin wool sweaters, a thick wool sweater that I'm wearing now that I found. I didn't find anything like climbing socks or the red thermal underwear, but you know, you'd have 2 pairs of wool, warm gloves, hats, sweaters, cargo pants, a pretty nice pair of jeans if you needed to replace the crap ones, you know. And generally speaking, I try not to leave anything high tier behind, but you know, I've left some stuff behind. So plenty of cloth to really do. So you know, I'd say out of the regions I've been to so far, including Pleasant Valley, which was really, you know, and you always measure it by the loot, and it's hard to measure it by the loot in Pleasant Valley because one, there's just so many opportunities, and two, there's so many high tier opportunities. So military coat, pea coat, expedition coat, snow pants, you know, all those things are possible there. So I would actually say that this has had the best loot so far. I didn't fully explore any of the territories. Oh, there's another cooking pot. Including Mystery Lake, but yeah, overall, pretty happy. All right, let's pick this up.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
I don't want to leave that behind. And then I think I'm going to make all these teas up. So now we're to the fun part, y'all. I mean, the fun part. That's right. Reading books, sewing, and cooking teas. Yeah. But again, that's why I don't really find too much believability in that I'm going to lose my sanity because I'm inside for a couple days. I can always step out on the porch, y'all. It's not that big a deal. Run over to the bank with a few dead bodies, you know, things people do. Alright. Need some more syrup. We're in Canada, eh? And put this super tired lady to bed. I'm just going to let her sleep. I'd say that should do it. Nice. So again, the logistics are done. I know basically what I feel like I need to know from this area. So now I can just concentrate on this other stuff. Now, normally I'd like to have some meat to do this. However, I'm just going to run through the junk food. plenty of calories sitting around here, so just these things alone are crazy. All right. We are going to start mending right now. I am a little concerned though about only having 2 sewing kits. The good news is though I have a ton of sewing kits back in Mystery Lake. I think I have a piece of line and another sewing hook in here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're good. That's fine. That's fine. All right. We're going to go in here, and generally what I would do is go and pick, say, like something I wanted, like these pea coats, or maybe I wanted the sweater, or I would repair my own clothing first. So we're going to go look at what we need, and what I want, I know I need to fix is this sweater right here. And we're just going to go ahead and use the sewing kit. Now we're already level 2, so we are already going to be in better shape as far as running into failures. It shouldn't happen very often. But my point is, you know, once you get it up to level 3, you're kind of golden. Like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You know, 3 or 4 pieces of cloth to fix one thing is really not the best way to go about it. Not to mention it costs time, calories, water, every time it screws up. Look at her. Look at 54 and 25, y'all. That's what I'm saying. Like, how many days in? We're about 37 days in, and we're in pretty good shape as far as being cold proof. Now, I did turn the days getting colder down lower, because again, this is more about survivability, but I'm sorry, less about survivability, more about the loot. But I feel pretty comfortable right now no matter what. Alright, so we'll hit. Let me get rid of these crackers. Oh, it's a dud. That's another thing, when they start to get low like that, sometimes you just don't really get anything out of it. Both those weren't great. How about a soda? There we go. But you can see we went through a decent amount of food just in water, just goofing around with that stuff. Alright. So, like I said, normally I would grab like the stuff I would want to keep for later or anything like that, but we're just going to grab low-end stuff. Preferably, you know, pretty quick repairs too. We'll get those fixed.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
And we'll start with these. And repair. And if I wanted to waste time again. So I used 2 pieces of cloth. I wouldn't recommend doing that normally. Okay, I'm doing it because again, like I said, I don't really care about this playthrough, but if you fail once, just rip it up and get your piece of cloth back. On a hat that you're never going to wear. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the smart thing to do would be to either have just harvested it after the first fail, or if it did work, again, harvest it and then use that cloth. We're moving right along. Okay, what else we got here? This thing. I mentioned this time and again, I don't really know. I should just look it up. If sewing is based on each repair or if it's based on time. I don't know. But because all these repairs end up taking a decent amount of time, I don't really know. I don't think I care that much. But this may be a situation where you might, if you're really trying to geek up the skill, you might want to not waste the repair kit and just use the needle and thread. It might actually be better for you to do that. So keep that in mind. But I'm also sort of at the end of what I need to do here. I get kind of antsy. I just want to go ahead and get all this stuff done. This should break the kit. And now we're going to switch over to fishing tackle. Oh, I double tapped. Oh well. And not quite enough, I don't think. But we should be pretty close. Oh yeah, like another repair and I'll be at 3, so we're good there. Let's see. Now I'm just going to go through and drop everything that I repaired on the floor. So I don't, because some of it isn't, you know, repaired up as high as some of the other ones. And if I was going to sew a significant amount more, I wouldn't want to confuse them with what I've already sewn. Who wants some crappy candy bars? You guys need some crappy chips. Drink some crappy toilet water, yeah. Alright. I think what I'm going to do is take a quick break. I need 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'll be back. And then what I'll probably do tonight is start a fire. I don't have a ton of firewood. I don't know. Can I break up that chair? Or did I already do it? I might already do it. I hate this chair. And do some reading. We'll see. Alright, be back in a few. Actually, never mind. I'll pop this on real quick. It's a little bit later than I thought, and I've got to go start dinner, so I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back shortly, more than likely. But I'm going to call this a video right here, because I got too much stuff to do to maybe mess around and put me on hold there. So. Alright, well, if you happen to catch this, thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Got a lot of stuff done. Basically done here, going to do, like I said, the mending, and cooking, and book reading I need to do before I need to leave, so we can reduce the carry weight, just get all that stuff taken care of. And then I'm going to head on out to back to Mystery Lake, and then probably Broken Railroad. So, all right, if you haven't catch this, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you see us at a later date or time, thanks for watching. Hope you guys are having a good day, and y'all be good to each other.